Hey, fat man, how are ya? Can you hear me? I should ask that question first. Maybe, let's see. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Ah, okay, you can hear then. Good. I'm kind of doing okay. Did you have to work today? I know the work you do is all kinds of hours, isn't it? Hey, Bara. Well, I hope you relax some this weekend. I couldn't get the other stream to work, so hopefully folks figure out that we're over here instead. And this is why we don't live stream a lot because I can never get it to work. Relaxation process. If it's a process, is it really relaxation? That was my, oh, Bara, are you in France? I've got throat gurgles going on. You guys are going to hear how much I say because I'm not editing out all the ums. Ireland. Okay. Well, I haven't been to either place. I haven't have never gotten out of the continental US. Although my bucket list is to get to Sicily one day. Cozy setup. It's cozy because it's freezing down here. I have a heat source, but the heat source isn't on. It's the wood stove. It takes a lot of work to keep it going. It's just easier to put blankets on top. Well, I guess I will update the two of you. I don't know how many total we have on. According to the count number, it looks like just one person, but I know we got more than one person on here. So, but I'll let folks know that may watch this later, at the very least, that um, updates as far as my birthday bash, which has been over a year since I've talked about it. Um, I didn't get to have the plan I wanted to do. Portland. I have family in Portland, Oregon. Um, I'm not getting to do the birthday bash that I wanted to do. I wanted to see if I could raise enough money for home free. Home free is really, really expensive. So I knew it was a long shot. So, backup plan, we're going to have Big Daddy Love play for the birthday bash. We're settling a time because they had to change the date because they forgot they had something already scheduled that day. So, as soon as I have a date and all that, I will let folks know that for anybody who wants to make the journey to little old Sparta. But it'll be sometime this coming summer. And Big Daddy Love describes themselves as Appalachian rock. So if you have not heard of them, you can look them up. They've got some stuff on YouTube, not a lot, but some. They do have a web page. Yeah, I never celebrate my birthday really. I have a friend that takes me out to lunch. That's about it. So um, I figured we're turning 50. It's time to have a big old bash. So, and at this rate, I'm not going to have any kind of wedding or anything like that. So, not going to have any baby showers. That's definitely out of the arena now. So, we'll we'll have a big old bash and just have some fun. Music. It'll be summertime. Hopefully, no rain. But if there is rain, warm enough not to scare folks off. The kitties are well. Um, I was just writing my holiday letter for family and friends and everybody and telling them about Purdy and her passing. So, tough memories about that today. Oh, my little reaction thingy's in the way. You're about to be 48, 49. We'll see when it pops up a little further up the list. But happy early birthday to you. Um, if you didn't see, Buddy finally learned how to fetch. It's on Instagram under Sherry's Kitties. Um, the link is in my description thingy. So she's one of my feral cats and has desperately wanted to be a domesticated cat, but doesn't know how. Well, she finally figured out fetching. So we got that on video and I posted that. And then other than that, all the kitties are pretty much the same. They stay to themselves, just ask me for food, and that's about it. It's weird not having one attached to me at all times. You're about to be 44. I see it now. Getting old. Getting there up there in the ranks with us. So how old are you, Bara? And I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, so tell me if I'm saying it wrong. 34. So we got 34, 44, and technically still 49 right now. So a lot of fours in there. I feel old. My doctor is a bit incompetent, and I'm on my fourth one in a year because they keep leaving. And so I'm off my main medication that I have to have. Cool. Glad I'm pronouncing it correctly. I do worry about that sometimes. Um, so I'm tired all the time. I'm having to space out editing videos because I start to fall asleep while I'm editing. It might make for some funny edits. Um, but it's going to be a month. I don't have a new doctor's appointment until January 29th. And I even have Dad on standby because he may have to drive me because I may be too lethargic to drive to my doctor's appointment. So It's in another county, about 45 minutes away. Age is a state of mind, usually until your body is screaming at you and saying, "Oh, no, you're not young." Uh, well, the only positive to this latest PCP being, incompetent is that I found out that my main medicine does still work. It helps me sleep, and it does keep the pain away, so that's the good news, but, well, we'll see what happens. I am gonna ask the new one while I'm off of it, do they want me to do any new sleep studies or anything like that? Because it's been about, um, about 5 years since I've had a sleep study, and that last sleep study was while I was on all the medication, so, they may want me without all the medication. Yes, very cold. We are in the it's my car thermostat thingy, which is not always accurate, but it said 33 degrees when I was going to dad's house to watch the game. So 33 is a bit chilly for me. I was okay going to the car to the house in just this, but to stay out there, I had to walk his dogs. And so I wrapped one of those Sherpa blankets around me as we walked through the woods. I hope so also. Actually, in Bara, I know you're watching the Hercules and Xena episodes. This we just filmed 1-3 of Xena, and I was yawning the whole time through that one. I was like, "Oh gosh." How high did it get in South Carolina? It was in the 40s, wasn't it? And I'm actually a South Carolina baby. I was born in South Carolina. Low 20s at night. Yeah, I didn't even look to see what are our, what is our lows tonight. I think well, it still says 32. I think it's supposed to get down to 28 according to AccuWeather, but it hasn't always been accurate, so we'll see. Born and raised Carolina boy. I just found out in the last 10 years that the area that I was born, which I'm not going to say because, that's one of the security questions they ask everybody. But I found out that the area that I was born is referred to as the Low Country. I didn't know that until recently. Well, as far as spoilers go, I throat gurgles again. I'm not big on um, like everything being a spoiler because I'm Gen X. I was raised with the titles of the show being right then and there, and um, we talk about that all the time with the Buffy fans, and they're like, "It's a spoiler. It's a spoiler." I said, "It wouldn't be a spoiler if it's the title. If the writers and directors and whatever wanted it to be a spoiler, they would have kept it hidden." or called it something else. Or so that's my attitude towards spoilers. I don't think those kind of things are, but I know a lot of people do. Um, but I know Brooke wants to go in as blind as possible, so I try to be the least spoilery that I can be with her. Although I've accidentally let some stuff slip, and you guys know that, but I don't think she's caught on to it. So, I do understand getting people to react from just the surprise appearances and that sort of thing. Although we're getting into the generation where they don't know some of these surprise cameos. They don't know this all-star cast. You know, I try to get folks to react to the villain, and it's so hard. One, it's hard to find to stream it to react to it, but you know, they're not clear on who Kirk Douglas is. They're not clear on who Anne Margaret is. Um, Everybody knows who Arnold Schwarzenegger is, but you know, I try to at least coax them in giving them those three names, but it doesn't always work. That's true. In different attitudes, um, there's stuff that people get so upset about so easily, and I'm like, really? And we were just talking about that. I think in the video that just went up. Um, it's neat to see who gets upset by what and all that kind of stuff. Of course, that being said, there's some reactors, if I find out something about them, I mark them off my list because I don't want to contribute to that line of thinking any further. so so I do it myself. I don't know why I get so confused at why other people do it. I dearly miss the 80s. 90s, I could give or take. A lot of folks say they never want to go back to the high school years, but I'm one of those. I'm like, yes, I'll go back to high school. I loved high school, even though I was an outcast. I understand time. I get to watch a lot of reactors and stuff because my job, I sit around and wait for a crisis to happen. So so I watch a lot of YouTube in the meantime, but otherwise I don't have a lot of time to sit down and react. I haven't done my reactions for Home Free or Voice Play or Jeff has got his solo music video out for Christmas. All these Christmas videos, music videos, I haven't been able to react to because I just haven't had time. I still haven't done them yet. I figure I'll go ahead and do them, and then that way I'm at least caught up for this year, this end of the year. I'll just post them next week, out of order, out of season. So, are you a Goonie fat man? I think I would have fit into the Goonies. Goonie for certain. Yeah, I am. The my high school years. So when I was 11, mom and dad divorced, and so junior high age, seventh, eighth grade, I was in a different school system from all the kids I grew up with, and then we moved school districts again, and another for so my high school years was with a whole nother set of folks. So I'm used to being the transplant. I usually got along with everybody. Are you one of the my cousin is part of a team with Surf Pro, I think is the commercial name. But they go in when there's been some kind of disaster and they help rebuild and that sort of thing. Is that what you do, Bara? And I can't believe you waited up until you were 32 to watch the Goonies. It is sad to see Corey Feldman nowadays, though. He uh, he did not have a good childhood based on how has reacted in his adult life. I agree. Well, as he was kind of in the muddy waters before the other Corey died, but definitely after the other Corey died. They were good friends. So I have um, administration can be a disaster, especially if you have to deal with me as an employee. A lot of damaged actors out there, and some get their lives straightened out, but some don't. Yep, trying to take care. That's about the most of it. Got to take care of ourselves before we can take care of other people. My mom hasn't figured that one out yet. Maybe one day. I don't know if you guys want to hear it. I did because I didn't know how many people would be on or what you guys would want to talk about. I do have the fable of don't ignore yourself. It's good to take care of yourself. I mean, if you work hard and don't enjoy things, then are you really living? You're just a robot at that point. Yeah. My mom is very good about helping others, helping other family members, helping her friends, that sort of thing. But she's not good at taking care of herself. Oh, I started to say, I have the fable that I had talked about in the comment about One Eyes, Two Eyes, and Three Eyes, which is my favorite fable. So I do have it if you guys want me to read it, but I also know it can be quite boring to listen to somebody reading something. I haven't done a read along um, in 2 years now. I think, um, oh gosh, I can't even think of the story. It's my brother's book, the one about the ghost. I think that was the last one I read. Agreed, Bara. You'll support it in my journey. Well, part of that was me saying, maybe I won't do a live. Maybe I'll just go to sleep. Put the PJs on and go to sleep. But I fought to stay awake, and I fought taking the clothes off, putting the PJs on, because that's the first thing I do as soon as I get home is I get my PJs. I tell folks, I say, if if you want me to come back out of the house, you got to plan things out for me. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? Kimberly watches a little bit of everything too. She's watching my Game of Thrones. She does some of my music reactions, I believe, and she does some of the art stuff as well. Even though I have my contacts in, I have to put reading glasses on to read because I can't see up close enough with. I know I couldn't get it to work, so I had to do this one instead. I don't know how to tell folks about the other one not working though. So, um, but yeah, I've had my contacts in all day today, and I thought, I won't bother taking them out for the live. And then I remembered I told y'all that I might read this, so I grabbed the reading glasses real quick. So talk about getting old. Although my eye doctor said that they now have contacts that are considered progressive lens, like glasses. For work, I use my progressive lens glasses. And so he wants to try me on those contacts. And I said, okay, well, let's get the money situated first so that I'm prepared to get those kind of contacts. So we're preparing. We're seasoned. I'm seasoned real well. So Kimberly, I was telling them as far as the birthday bash, the plan right now is that I'm not able to go with the original plan, but we're going to have Big Daddy Love as the band, and they do Appalachian rock. One of the band members is a friend of the family, so I've been talking with him, but we've had to reschedule it. So as soon as I find out what date, I'll let everybody know when and where and all that, in case they want to travel to North Carolina. Oh, I understand not wanting to rewatch watch people react to some stuff. There's stuff that I enjoy, but I'm not going to sit there and listen to a reactor react to it. But then there's other shows that I do watch reactors to that I enjoy just listening to the musings. All right. So this is from a really old book. This was back when my mom was a kid. I can't tell. It's probably reading backwards, isn't it? But it's Anthology of a Children's anthology of children's literature. And so it's a mixture of a whole bunch of stories. That's Robin Hood, Alice in Wonderland. So it's got poems, fables, folk tales, lullabies. I was trying to remember all the different things. Even has like old drawings like that. So it's a kind of a nice little old children's book. What year is it? I don't know how old the original story is, but this was put together originally in 1935, I believe. So these stories are from before then. Oh, first grade teacher. No, it wasn't first grade. It was kindergarten. I got spanked twice in kindergarten. One time was for playing at nap time. My neighbor had the mat right beside me, and we always talked during nap time. And we were playing Lady and the Tramp, but Tramp was burying Lady. So that's all I remember from that, and getting in trouble for it and getting spanked. So that's probably another reason why I'm so used to so much stuff is I got spanked by teachers. I got spanked by my mom with a wooden spoon. My brother's teacher in 7th grade, she showed me all of her different paddles that she had. She had a drawer just full of paddles. One of the paddles had holes in it. I remember that. But this is called One Eyes, Two Eyes, and Three Eyes. There once was a woman who had 3 daughters, the eldest of whom was called One Eye because she had only one eye in the middle of her forehead, and the second, Two Eyes, because she had 2 eyes like other folks, and the youngest, Three Eyes, because she had 3 eyes, and her third eye was also in the center of her forehead. Yeah, the wood paddles hurt. Uh, However, as Two Eyes saw, just as other human beings did, her sisters and her mother could not endure her. They said to her, "Thou with thy 2 eyes art no better than the common people. Thou dost not belong to us." They pushed her about and threw old clothes to her and gave her nothing to eat but what they left, and did nothing that they could to make her unhappy. It came to pass that Two Eyes had to go out into the fields and tend to the goat, but she was still quite hungry because her sisters had given her so little to eat. So she sat down on a ridge and began to weep so bitterly that 2 streams ran down from her eyes. And once, when she looked up with her grief, a woman was standing beside her who said, "Why art thou weeping, little Two Eyes?" Little Two Eyes answered, sorry, I just saw that you never had nap time. That was late 70s, 78, 79 that we had nap time. So yeah, a long time ago. Um, Two Eyes answered, "Have I not reason to weep when I have 2 eyes like other people, and my sisters and mother hate me for it, and push me from one corner to another, throw old clothes at me, and give me nothing to eat but scraps they leave?" And as I'm reading this, I've realized we don't know how many eyes Mama has. Mom's considering her above the rest because everybody else has 2 eyes. But does Mom have 2 eyes, or does she have 1 or 3 or 4? Who knows? Today they have given me so little that I am still quite hungry. Then the wise woman said, Wipe away thy tears, Two Eyes, and I will tell thee something to stop thee ever suffering from hunger again. Just say to thy goat, Bleat, my little goat, bleat. Cover the table with something to eat. And then a clean, well spread little table will stand before thee with the most delicious food upon it, of which thou mayest eat as much as thou art inclined for. This is hard to read, all the old language. And when thou hast had enough, and hast no more need of the little table, just say, Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away. And then it will vanish again from thy sight. Hereupon the wise woman departed. But Two Eyes thought, I must instantly make a trial and see if what she said is true, for I am far too hungry, she said. Yeah, 94 is different educational system, definitely. Rules had changed by then. I don't know when it was that most states took away children getting spanked in school, but I'm thinking it was definitely by the 90s, right? I think it was by the 90s. So Two Eyes said, Bleat, bleat, little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat. And scarcely had she spoken the words than a little table covered with a white cloth was standing there, and on it was a plate with a knife and a fork and a silver spoon. And the most delicious food was there also, warm and smoking as if it had just come out of the kitchen. Then Two Eyes said the shortest prayer she knew, Lord God be with us always, amen, and helped herself to some food and enjoyed it. When she was satisfied, she said, as the wise woman had taught her, Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away. And immediately the little table and everything on it was gone again. That was a delightful way of keeping house, thought Two Eyes, and was quite glad and happy. I would like to clean up that easily. I left a mess up in the kitchen in order to come down. In the evening, when she went home with her goat, she found a small earthenware dish with some food, which her sisters had set ready for her, but she did not touch it. Next day, she again went out with her goat and left the few bits of broken bread which had been handed to her lying untouched. The first and second time that she did this, her sisters did not remark it at all. But as it happened every time, they did observe it and said, There is something wrong about Two Eyes. She always leaves her food untasted, and she used to eat up everything that was given to her. She must have discovered other ways of getting food. In order that they might learn the truth, they resolved to send One Eye with Two Eyes when she went to drive her goat to the pasture, to observe what Two Eyes did when she was there, and whether anyone brought her anything to eat or drink. So, when Two Eyes set out the next time, One Eye went with her and said, I will go with you to the pasture and see the goat is well taken care of. I put a comma in there. Shouldn't have put a comma in there. And see that the goat is well taken care of and driven where there is food. But Two Eyes knew what was in One Eye's mind and drove the goat into high grass and said, Come, One Eye, we will sit down and I will sing something to you. One Eye sat down and was tired with the unaccustomed walk and the heat of the sun. And Two Eyes sang constantly, One Eye, wakest thou? One Eye, sleepest thou? Until One Eye shut one eye and fell asleep. As soon as Two Eyes saw that One Eye was fast asleep and could discover nothing, she said, Bleat, bleat, my little goat, bleat. Cover the table with something to eat. And seated herself at the table and ate and drank until she was satisfied. And then she again cried. Oh, not really cried. I was like, wait, I don't remember that part. Cried the thing, Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away. and in an instant it was all gone. Two Eyes now awakened One Eye and said, "One Eye, you want to you want to take care of the goat and go to um, sleep while you are doing it, and in the meantime the goat might run all over the world. Come, let us go home again." So they went home, and again Two Eyes let her little dish stand untouched, and One Eye could not tell her mother why she would not eat it. And to excuse herself, she said, "I fell asleep when I was out." Next day the mother said to Three Eyes, "This time thou shalt go and observe if Two Eyes eats anything when she is out, and if anyone fetches her food and drink, for she must eat and drink in secret." So Three Eyes went to Two Eyes and said, "I will go with you and see if the goat is taken proper care of and driven where there is food." But Two Eyes knew what was in Three Eyes' mind and drove the goat into high grass and said, "We will sit down and I will sing something to you, Three Eyes." Three Eyes sat down and was tired with the walk and with the heat of the sun, and Two Eyes began the same song as before and sang, "Three Eyes, are you waking?" But then instead of "Three Eyes, are you sleeping?" as she ought to have done, she thoughtlessly sang, "Two Eyes, are you sleeping?" and sang all the time, "Three Eyes, are you waking? Two Eyes, are you sleeping?" Then two of the eyes which Three Eyes had shut and fell asleep, but the third, as it had not been named in the song, did not sleep. It is true that Three Eyes shut it, but only in her cunning to pretend it was asleep too. But it blinked and could see everything very well. And when Two Eyes thought that Three Eyes was fast asleep, she used her little charm. "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat," and ate and drank as much as her heart desired, and then ordered the table to go away again. "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away." And Three Eyes had seen everything. Then Two Eyes came to her, waked her, and said, "Have you been asleep, Three Eyes? You are a good caretaker. Come, we will go home." And when they got home, Two Eyes again did not eat, and Three Eyes said to the mother, "Now I know why the high-minded thing there does not eat when she is out." She says to the goat, "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat." And then a little table appears before her, covered with food, covered with the best food, much better than any we have here. And when she has eaten all she wants, she says, "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away." And all disappears. I watched everything closely. She put two of my eyes to sleep by using a certain form of words, but luckily the one in my forehead kept awake. Then the envious mother cried, "Dost thou want to fare better than we do? The desire shall pass away." And she fetched a butcher's knife and thrust it into the heart of the goat, which fell down dead. When Two Eyes saw that she went out full of trouble, seated herself on the ridge of the grass at the edge of the field, and wept bitter tears. Suddenly the wise woman once more appeared. Hold on, we're getting there. And stood by her side and said, "Two Eyes, why art thou weeping?" "Have I not reason to weep?" she answered. "The goat which covered the table for me every day when I spoke your charm has been killed by my mother, and now I shall again have to bear hunger and want." The wise woman said, "Two Eyes, I will give you three apiece. Oh, give thee a piece of good advice. Ask thy sisters to give the entrails of the slaughtered goat and bury them in the ground in front of the house, and thy fortune will be made." Well, if I could read correctly, it might be okay. Um, let's see, where was I at? Then she vanished, and Two Eyes went home and said to her sisters, "Dear sisters, do give me some part of my goat. I don't wish for what is good, but give me the entrails." Then they laughed and said, "If that's all you want, you can have it." So Two Eyes took the entrails and buried them quietly in the evening in front of the house door, as the wise woman had counseled her to do. Next morning, when they all awoke and went to the house door, there stood a strangely magnificent tree with leaves of silver and fruit of gold hanging among them. So that in all of the wide world there was nothing more beautiful or precious. They did not know how the tree could have come there during the night, but Two Eyes saw that it had grown up out of the entrails of the goat, for it was standing on the exact spot where she had buried them. Climb up, my child, and gather. Whoops, I skipped. Then the mother said to One Eye, "Climb up, my child, and gather some of the fruit of the tree for us." One Eye climbed up, but when she was about to get a hold of one of the golden apples, the branch escaped from her hands, and that happened each time, so that she could not pluck a single apple, let her do what she might. Then said the mother, "Three Eyes, do you climb up, and with your 3 eyes can look about you better than One Eye." One Eye slipped down, and Three Eyes climbed up. Three Eyes was not more skillful and might search as she liked, but the golden apples always escaped her. At length the mother grew impatient and uh, climbed up herself, but could not hold the fruit no better than One Eye and Three Eyes, for she always clutched empty air. Then said Two Eyes, "I will just go up, and perhaps I may succeed better." The sisters cried, "You indeed, with your 2 eyes, what can you do?" But Two Eyes climbed up, and the golden apples did not get out of her way, but came into her hand of their own accord, so that she could pluck them one after the other, and brought a whole apronful down with her. The mother took them away from her, and instead of treating poor Two Eyes any better for this, she said One Eye and Three Eyes were only envious because Two Eyes alone had been able to get the fruit, and they treated her still more cruelly. It so befell that once when they were all standing together by the tree, a young knight came up. "Quick, Two Eyes," cried the two sisters, "creep under this and don't disgrace us." And with all speed they turned an empty barrel which was standing close by the tree over poor Two Eyes, and they pushed the golden apples which she had been gathering under it too. When the knight came nearer, he was a handsome lord who stopped and admired the magnificent gold and silver tree, and said to the two sisters, "To whom does this fine tree belong? Anyone who would bestow one branch of it on me might in return for it ask for whatsoever he desired." Then One Eye and Three Eyes replied that the tree belonged to them, and that they could give him a branch. They both took great trouble, but they were not able to do it, for the branches and fruit both moved away from them every time. Then said the knight, "It is very strange that the tree should belong to you, and that you should still not be able to break a piece off." They again asserted that the tree was their property. Whilst they were saying, um, whoops, whilst they were saying so, Two Eyes rolled out a couple of golden apples from under the barrel to the feet of the knight, for she was vexed with One Eye and Three Eyes for not speaking the truth. When the knight saw the apples, he was astonished and asked where they came from. One Eye and Three Eyes answered that they had another sister who was not allowed to show herself, for she had only 2 eyes like any common person. The knight, however, desired to see her, and cried, "Two Eyes, come forth." Then Two Eyes, quite comforted, came from beneath the barrel, and the knights were surprised at her great beauty, and said, "Thou, Two Eyes, canst certainly break off a branch from the tree for me." "Yes," replied Two Eyes, That I certainly shall be able to do, for the tree belongs to me." And she climbed up and with the greatest ease broke off a branch with a beautiful silver leaves and golden fruit and gave it to the knight. Then the knight said, "Two Eyes, what shall I give for thee for it?" "Alas," answered Two Eyes, "I suffer from hunger and thirst, grief and want, from early morning till late night. If you would take me with you and deliver me from those things, I should be happy." So the knight lifted Two Eyes onto the horse and took her home with him to his father's castle. And there he gave her beautiful clothes and meat and drink to her heart's content. And as he loved her so much, he married her, and the wedding was solemnized with great rejoicing. When Two Eyes was thus carried away by the handsome knight, her two sisters grudged her good fortune in downright earnest. The, the wonderful tree, however, still remains with us, thought they, and even if they can gather no fruit from it, still will everyone will stand still and look at it and come to us and admire it. Who knows what good things may be in store for us? But the next morning the tree had vanished, and all their hopes were at an end. When Two Eyes looked out the window of her own little room, to her great delight, it was standing in front of it, and had followed her. I lost what the it was. I'm guessing the tree. Oh, yeah, I've got contacts and glasses on, and I can't read my words. So it says, "But the next morning the tree had vanished, and all their hopes were at an end. When Two Eyes looked out the window of her own little room, to her great delight, it was standing in front of it, and so it had followed her. Two Eyes lived a long time in happiness. Once two poor women came to her in her castle and begged for alms. She looked in their faces and recognized her sisters, One Eye and Three Eyes, who had fallen into such poverty that they had to wander about and beg their bread from door to door. Two Eyes, however, made them welcome and was kind to them and took care of them, so that they both, with all their hearts, repented the evil that they had done to their sister in their youth." The end. The golden goose is after that one. I was trying to look at the titles here for you guys. So it's got things in here that's considered a folk tale, but it's got fables as well, um, Mother Goose rhymes and nonsense verses. Oops. Folklore that has inspired good music, myths, legends and hero stories, literary fairy tales like Hans Christian Andersen, Old Testament stories, nonfiction, fiction. So it's kind of got a little bit of everything in this book. Um, I'll have to do some research and see if I can find out when going horse. Find out when One Eyes, Two Eyes, and Three Eyes was originally written. With that language, I would say probably 1800s, maybe even 1700s, but I don't know for sure. Well, thank you for sticking around and listening. just got like, I was like, what are all those notifications? They're you. As far as the channel, what's coming up? We've got um, Dexter New Blood is going to finish out. There's 10 episodes of it. Game of Thrones, and then immediately after Game of Thrones will be House of the Dragon. And then in between, after I get done with Dexter New Blood, I'll probably start. There'll be a docu-series or docudrama or something like that. And then, thanks, Kimberly. And then after that docu-series, I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I can take these off since I'm not reading now. But after that, I've got The Walking Dead season 11 that's already recorded that I need to edit and post. And then that'll take a while. That'll take almost 6 months of that because there's 20, 24 episodes in the last season, something like that. So House of the Dragon will finish way before that. What I'll probably do is I've got a lot of movies that are waiting to be edited, and I'll probably put up a movie every other week in the spot after House of the Dragon. And then when I get caught up on all of that, I'll see where Brooke is at with things, and we might I haven't talked to her about this yet, but I might have time to then be able to edit 2 of the Hercules Xena universe so that we can put up 2 a week rather than just 1 a week because it's going to take a while otherwise. Yeah, if you need any tips, let me know, Kimberly. It's it's harder than it appears, and then you might get lucky at first, and then things go downhill. I talk from experience. So if you need any tips or anything, let me know, and I'll be glad to share some with you. And as far as movies, I've got a bunch of different ones. We've got the John Wick ones to finish. The Godfather 3, I think, is the only one I have left to post of those 3. We've got Where the Lilies Bloom. So if you're from Northwest North Carolina, you're familiar with that movie. And that's more of a rewatch. I hadn't watched it since I was a kid, but I had seen it before. But it was fun to rewatch that. And we've got Everything Everywhere All at Once, Megan. What are some of the other movies I have waiting? We've got I put them all in one folder so that I would quit losing them. I've got Donnie Darko, which I had never seen before, Cruella, Inside Out, Mortal Kombat, the new one. I'd already seen the older ones. Red Notice, Valley Girl, I had never seen before. The Proposal, The Whale, I watched. Glass Onion. So I've got all of those. I've got Are You There, Margaret? Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, waiting to be reacted to. I haven't reacted to it yet. It was my last DVD that I got from Netflix, and since it was the last one, I got to keep it. And then there's some on Netflix that I'm waiting to react to, like one of the Ryan Reynolds ones. Let's see. The Adam Project. I'm waiting to react to that. I didn't go to the movies to see Aquaman 2, so if I can find a way to stream it, I'll react to that as well. So there's a bunch of movies out there. Watch along. Hopefully you've all seen the stuff that I post, because I only do the YouTube edit ones. I don't do the full format on Patreon or anything. So Clue is awesome. I love Clue. And that's also a fun one to watch reactors react to, because you get so confused while watching it. I didn't know, though, when it originally released, I didn't know that they had different endings for different movie theaters. I didn't see it in the movie theater. I saw it once it came to VHS, but I never knew that. So I had always seen the 3 endings altogether. Yeah, I can't afford Patreon either. I have an account there because I did look into having it and everything, but since I don't plan on quitting my job, um, I c- I can't feel good about sustaining a Patreon and having people pay for things that I can't guarantee. So that's why I just have a donation link. So if they want to give me something, they can, but otherwise, it's not expected. Uh, I'll have, oh, Blind Wave is, I like watching them. They have a lot of fun. I just watched their Barbie reaction. I can tell you who all I've got in my queue right now. I don't have, I'll have up to like 25 videos in my queue. I've only got 11 right now. But like the people I watch reactions to, I've got Mr. L. Boyd, Sean Tank Top, Cinepals, which used to be Jabby Coe. After show reactions, she's started The Walking Dead, so I'm back to watching her reactions. I haven't seen her since she finished Buffy. Evil QK, the charismatic voice, Brooke, Cinepals again. So those are all the reactors I have right now that I've added to the list. Oh, that's cool. They look like they've got a good batch of collections going on. I don't have a good way to set up a studio, so I had to buy these things just to have something to put the Xena dolls on. It's Eric, Aaron, Calvin, and Aaron. I think no, I said Aaron twice, I think. I can't remember Calvin's twins' name. And then the girls, I haven't learned their names. I've seen the X-Files. I like the X-Files. I watched it when it aired, so I watched the one episode that was banned and never aired again on TV. Rick, that's right. I've also seen the newer episodes. all the newer episodes of the X-Files and the movie. I don't think I've seen anything after the movie. There's a couple of movies, I think. It's been a while. I don't remember them exactly, but there's an X-File episode that's very similar to a movie that John Ritter was in called The Colony. And I always mixed the X-Files TV show and the movie The Colony up as far as premises because they're very similar. Yeah, home. That creeped me out, so I understand why they banned it, but yeah, of all the creepy stuff they've showed on that show, that one was just disturbing. But now I live for that stuff. Hannibal, I love Hannibal, the TV show. I wish they would have continued it. Although it did get really weird at one point, but what TV show doesn't? I ended up stopping. I didn't watch the last seasons of Agents of Shield because they lost me at some point, and I was like, that's it. I can't take an hour out of my day each week to keep watching this. Um, I did finish the 100, but they lost me the last season. I was so confused with all the back and forth stuff, and I don't do well with those kind of shows. Um, I did have somebody request, I forget who it was now, but somebody did request Sons of Anarchy. So after we figure out, when I get caught up on everything, and then Brooke and I figure out what we're doing with Hercules and Xena, I may do that as my next new show, is Sons of Anarchy. Something Under the Bed? Wait, you said two films. So what's the other film? Oh, is there like part one and part two of Is There Something Under the Bed? I don't think I've heard that one. Or I might just be getting confused because I'm tired. There's Something Under the Bed. Something Under the Bed 2022. Something Under the Bed is Drooling from 2010. Go get those clothes washed. I should do that myself this weekend. I do have Monday off, so yay. Well, I'm glad you got to hang out with me. I'll let you guys in on something I am starting to do also. I am starting to learn Pasanka, which is the Ukrainian egg decorating. So my acrylic pouring will have that mixed in with it now as I start to learn that. Hopefully, I'm good at it. Thank you, Fat Man. I prefer to call you something else. Can I call you something else? Slow Horses with Oldman. I do like Gary Oldman. Oh, that's a TV show? Those are short seasons. That's doable. I'll put that down so I don't forget it. Well, Well, I'm glad you're not ashamed of it. I just hate saying it since I don't know you well enough, you know? You're not a in real life friend of mine. It feels weird to call you that. That's all. So Chad or Michael, I'll try to remember those 2 names. Good night. Um, uh, Kimberly, you know, Apple TV, that's like it's like vampires or something, you know? As soon as I see Apple products, I put up the crosses. They're so proprietary. I hate to give them any money, but I'll look and see where it's airing and see if it's on anything else. And um, once I get caught up with things, I'm going to switch my basic cable over to the Hulu cable package. So those will be my 2 streaming sources is Netflix and Hulu. Um, and then anything past that, we'll just have to see. I have like I reacted to the Red Cape, which a friend of the family did that worked on that film, and so I paid money to watch that. But there's depending on how much the different services are charging and all that kind of stuff depends on if I am able to spend the money on it. Of course, after the birthday bash, I won't be saving up money as hard. You watch from questionable sources. I can't see the end of the question word. The heart thingy is in my way. It'd be nice if they put that somewhere else, but well, I thank you all for joining me, hanging out with me. Um, I know I don't do lives too often. I'll try to get better about doing them. Maybe especially after I get some sleep too. All right. You guys take care. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the comments section, if not anywhere else. Um, I don't think any of you are on the Discord, but if you ever pop in there, I'll try to get on there more too. So good to see everybody. Happy New Year to you too. It is almost the new year, isn't it? Good night, Bara or Bara. Now I don't know how I've been saying it. Happy New Year to you too. Don't party too hard there in Ireland. All right, stopping now. See you guys.